Hi there, folks. We have been talking about color harmonies in terms of how colors relate to each other on the color wheel. So here we've done analogous, we have done complementary, but I want to talk about triad. So we've got a triad here, which is a triangle within the color wheel. And here we've got the purple, the orange, and the green are secondary colors, but our primary colors are also a triad. So we've got yellow, red, and blue. And we haven't spent much time working with these three colors together, and that's what we're going to do in this exercise. So I'm going to shut this now for a moment, and I am going to pull up these two palettes. So on the left, we have a cool paper, and we have the primaries and white at the top, which are also cool. And then on the right, we have a warmer gray, warmer neutral gray, and we have warmer triad of the primaries up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm opening Illustrator here now, and you see I have set up a template for you. Your template will just be blank. I've started to fill this one in on the right, and there's some things I want to show you about the artboard here. So one is when I click here, I have two layers set up. This bottom layer I have locked that has our neutral grays on there. So if you can unlock, and then I can move that around and change that. You're welcome to change these a little if you want. Basically, one is supposed to be a cool neutral gray, and one is a warm neutral gray. So you can stick with these and just keep it locked. And then the color dots are on this other layer. So if I shut this, you can see those color dots. And then what I have here in my background are these colors that I'm using for reference here. So I'm going to shut this for a moment, and I am going to open my colors here. So I have my colors here. If you are not seeing the CMYK, you may open it up and see this. You may see grayscale, but what you want to do is open this color palette and go into the hamburger here and make sure it says CMYK. And if you're not seeing the full piece, you hit this little arrow here and that will expand it for you. Okay, so and you can pull these off and you can move them around. So here I have started putting in some cool, these are the warm. So here are my warm colors, and over here I will put in some cools, and I will look at my reference over here because I'm trying to come up with something that's similar to here. So obviously I'm going to be adding quite a bit of magenta. I'm going to also add a little bit of cyan and some yellow and maybe a hint of black. So I've got too much of the blue here. I'm going to really push up the magenta all the way, add a bunch of yellow. That feels quite cool, but it's too vibrant, partly because we're working on an illuminated screen, which is different than looking at something that's been painted, even though both of these are on my illuminated screen. But I'm going to put in a little black there to imitate this, and now I feel like it needs a little bit more yellow. And yours will maybe look a little bit different. We all have a bit of different sensibility. And I'm going to pull out some of that blue. I think it's making it look too cool there. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good with that. I'm going to now click on this dot here, and I'm going to put in some yellow, put in all the way up to the yellow. That's very vibrant. I'm going to, even though it's going to be a cool yellow, I still want a little bit of red in there, a magenta, sorry. And I'm going to add some cyan there. Trying to strike a balance, be making it look cool and looking at what I'm looking at on my screen, which is a photocopy of a screenshot of a printed book illuminated on my screen. So colors have been changed by light and processes here. So you can feel free to adjust it so it seems reasonable to you. And then I'm going to work on the blue here. So I'm going to pump up that blue, add some yellow. That magenta is not where I'm going to go. All the way up here, I think I need to add more black. That's too much yellow. It's starting to look a bit turquoisey. I think I need to really pump up the black and maybe a little bit more magenta. I think this one photographed, it ends up looking more purple than it really should. So I want to keep that cooler than what I'm seeing on my screen here. So then the next step is, if you look at what I've started here, what we're doing is we're taking the red and we're mixing it with white. So we get a light color here. We mixed the yellow and the red with white to give a peachy color. Here we've mixed yellow with white. Here we've mixed yellow and blue with some white. Here we've mixed blue with white. And then here we have added blue with red. So we're jumping, so it's making like a full rotation here because we're not actually on a wheel. And then, so we've got this purplish color here. So this is the light row, and then we're going to have a medium row and a darker row. I'm flicking over to here for a moment. These samples from the book are very dark, and I would like you to strike more of a balance of having light, medium, and dark, and not so dark as these. So I'm modifying that a bit. And so you can see that I've started to play with some of these. So this blue, I'm not making it quite as dark as I have over here. My head's behind there. And this blue I've just started to work on. So this blue, again, should be a combination of blue, yellow, blue, adding some blue, and adding some yellow, and adding quite a bit of black to darken that. Still need some blue and some yellow and a little more black in there. Now it's looking more, add some magenta. Sorry, I'm struggling here. You can see my cat keeps visiting us, and he's pushing the keyboard, and now he's sitting on my mouse pad, so I've got limited mobility. Life working from home. So I think that's starting to look better, although it looks a little bit too green. I'm going to pull out some of that magenta. It looks like an army green. Yeah, that's starting to look better to me. So you see I'm getting this green that's coming from these colors. Now when we're doing this digitally, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's not working out as much as working with colors because we're playing with these sliders. So we're not starting with this blue at all. We're creating it fresh because every time I go, like with this red, I am not starting with this red, although what you can do is you can grab this eyedropper and actually start with the red. So what I did was this one would be the yellow, so I can start with clicking on the yellow, grabbing the eyedropper, plucking this yellow, and then from there I can go back to my selection tool here, the black arrow, and I can start to modify that from there. So now I am a little bit starting with, almost like starting with the paint, but it's not quite the same thing. So basically this row, you've got this color mixed with white. The bottom row is color mixed with black, and then the middle is just pretty much adding those colors, but you might want to add a little bit of white or black in there. Okay, and so then when you are done with this, you are going to save your file. So you're going to say File, Save As, and some of you haven't done this, and I want to make sure you start paying attention to how you save things, because we're going to name this Triad, and then you're going to have your last name in here, because I'm getting files that say, color palette or whatever you decide to label them, and if I download it and your name's not attached to it, then it can get mixed up with other files. So you want to make sure that you put your name in it, and then we are going to save it as a PDF file. So we're not exporting, we're saving as, and I can save it as a PDF file. So there's my PDF. So then when you share this with somebody, they can just pop it up on their screen. They don't have to have the Illustrator file to be able to save that. So I am going to save my file there. So again, here we have a Illustrator document. One thing I want to also say, when you go to open this document, because I have it saved as the PDF, as the template, what you're going to do, let me close this for a moment. What you would do is you would go to File, Open, and then you look for it on your screen and you say open. I'm gonna move things around on my screen. Say open, because, and I've got the same window open. The reason why I'm describing this and telling you this, if you just go and click on Illustrator, click on the PDF, it will open up in the PDF Acrobat. So in order to open up an Illustrator file in Illustrator that's a PDF, you have to go first open up into Illustrator and then open the file, or you can drag and drop it onto the Illustrator icon and that will open it for you. Okay, good luck.